Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., continuing/concluding the birthday week of uploads this week. By the time you're watching this, it very well should be my birthday. But yeah, it started off with the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover over on the CW with half the Arrowverse shows, or at least most of them. So that one ended on quite the emotional cliffhanger, which I am aching to see concluded in January, but good to continue with the rest of the good stuff, which includes Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So good way to conclude this birthday week. But yeah, we're on episode 15 of season 1 now, titled Yes Men. No idea what that actually kind of infers to, because I mean, so far, I mean, obviously speaking, the titles so far have kind of, you know, been some kind of interpretation, some kind of sign as to what the episode will be like. So Yes Men, I can't really draw much from that. But last time in Tahiti, we figured out what Tahiti was. We figured out exactly what Tahiti was in the last episode. We saw the team struggling to save Skye, and we had a very, very satisfying scene of May beating the ever-loving crap out of Quinn after the regular S.H.I.E.L.D. doctors told them that there was nothing that they could do, and Coulson would have to eventually decide whether or not that he wanted to keep her on life support, because again, there was nothing they could do. But he knew that there were doctors who brought him back to life, so for someone on the verge of death, they should very much be able to treat Skye. So he set Fitzsimmons on the quest to uncover the location and procedures and everything that they actually used, mainly the location that they actually treated him at, which was that alone was kind of doctored as well. They put him up in a fake wing in the Bethesda hospital or something. So that stuff happened, and then on the way we were introduced to Agent Garrett, who was Ward's former SO before Ward moved on to Coulson's team, and Agent Antoine Triplet, who was the newer agent working under Garrett's wing, and they were the newcomers, and they were the ones initially assigned with the role of actually bringing Quinn into S.H.I.E.L.D. HQ for questioning. But then, you know, given how much Coulson wanted him to pay for what he did to Skye, he actually got Quinn to negotiate with S.H.I.E.L.D. and to actually keep him around, and that he would question him on the bus as he was there. So that stuff happened, and then they both and then they assembled a team to actually get to the place where Coulson was treated, and found it pretty barren. There were 2 security guards there, both of which died in the end after the firefight. But then they went around looking for the GH325 or 2332. GH325, right? Let me look back in my notes. I'm pretty sure it was 325. I'm pretty sure. Given that I've left this off for a couple of weeks, it's been it's pretty far back in my notes, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, GH325. It was 325, yeah. So the GH did turn out to be a guest house. That's what GH stood for, but they still had those that kind of room full of chemicals and science stuff, and they had a fridge with different GHs, like GH325 and 219 and all sorts of numbers. And then in the end, Coulson, we had a little bit of a flashback with Coulson where he actually found the room labeled Tahiti, showing all of the stuff in the Tahiti room. And he actually found out that all the different GHs were being pumped out and extracted from a tank containing a blue ass alien. Containing not even a full alien. No, not even fully. I think it was the top half of the body. I don't remember the legs being there. It was the top half of the body, and there were intestines and half the pelvis hanging out, and then there was a bunch of tubes coming out the inside. But it was a pretty decaying human body, I'd say. I think maybe it was kept due to the stasis, due to whatever the liquid was inside the tank, but also the alien's physiology itself. I think it was still kept somewhat decaying at a slower rate, but it was still decaying. It still had half the skin charred off and decaying away. So some kind of alien. So then that was when Coulson realized, oh crap, they didn't just bring me back to life, they put some alien crap inside me. And then he handed that exact same vial off to Fitz to give to Skye. So he sent Fitz off with a vial of alien crap to put into Skye to save her, and it did. She had a bit of like a exorcism-style seizure where the devil seemed to have come back with her from the verge of death, but she eventually did actually stabilize again, and she was better. She actually did, it actually did end up saving her life, and to what extent, I don't know, because, I mean, the alien crap doesn't seem to have affected Coulson just yet. He doesn't seem to have contracted any kind of superpowers or any kind of alien biology. Like, he doesn't seem to have like a healing factor or like whatever the alien actually has. But I think the alien, I mean, my theory is that the alien stuff is literally just like, because maybe that alien is from a race of aliens that have like a healing factor or some kind of like regenerative kind of advantage over humans, so that's why that one was like, you know, like however the hell they found it, whether they shot it out of the sky or whether it crash landed and they decided to harvest its organs, whatever the hell happened, they found some uses with it and they used it for science and medical purposes. So, but I mean, this alien alone was part of like a procedure that was completely unethical and ordered by Nick Fury. So, you know, I mean, so then that goes without saying that it came with risks, but then, you know, Fury said, just go along with the risks, just do whatever you have to do, just to bring this man back from death again. So, yeah, but, we found out exactly what happened there. So Skye was given that serum, and then Coulson sat by her towards the end of it, just like watching her carefully, more like in a much less kind of monitoring way, and much more like a concerned way. Like, what does this mean for Skye, and what's going to happen to her? Like, no, I mean, nothing that we haven't really seen much happen to him because of that alien stuff. Like, I don't know if he's suddenly going to turn blue or if he's going to start shooting lasers out of his eyes at some point, and then that builds up for Skye. But yeah, I mean, alien blood, I think, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, that would count as perhaps maybe like a blood transfusion of some sort, or maybe it would count as like cross-species, like, you know, genetics, or like a genetic transfer of some sort. Like you're still taking what the alien has in its blood, that's a part of its body, that's helped keep it alive for so long until that day, and then passing it over into something else, and then the next person then inherits all of those qualities. So what those qualities are, if there are any, besides from regeneration of cells, we have yet to find out. But it was a good reveal. Good reveal, had me on the edge of my seat and flipping the fuck out. But yeah, we will see what this means for Skye further along the line. But in the end, we had like a post-credit scene where we saw a woman in green, I think it was, wandering through the desert, and she either hypnotized or mind controlled a dude into kind of like a dude, a guy that was part of a newly married couple, into whisking her away in his car instead of his new wife. I think her name was Michelle. I think, I don't know, I think, but they were a newly married couple. Lorelei found them, she got the husband to ditch the wife, and then, yeah, so her name is Lorelei, so I'm getting heavy Asgardian vibes from her, so kind of upping the game with our kind of, like, movie and TV show interconnection. Like, the first hint of Asgardians we got was with, the Asgardian, like, the Berserker warrior, like, a few episodes back, and that three-piece staff that he had that kind of channeled the rage of the person. So nice way of upping the game and actually introducing new characters. I mean, I'm guessing it's safe to assume this is a character from the comics. I mean, I don't know if like it would be a smart decision just yet to actually introduce original characters or if they'd even have the right kind of material or kind of, you know, like go ahead for that, like the right kind of direction for that. But I am kind of safely assuming that this isn't like a comic character that they've actually translated over to the TV shows. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where that leads. So that is pretty much all I have from the last one. So episode 15 of season 1. Yes, men. Let's go.
Gal like you can have any man you want.
The Dogs of Hell. Oh. Wait, weren't they in Daredevil?
He's not my husband.
In the Punisher
Took
season.
him from his bride.
You said we'd be together forever, remember?
I said we'd be together till the end.
Oh, now the end is here.
The end.
Oh, cool. Oh, whoa! Super strength, Asgardian, makes sense. Damn,
I'm Lorelei.
probably broke his spine with that.
Now,
There's color in my cheeks. Breathing.
Yeah, she has great complexion.
Gratefulest.
that's
Not even a word.
Well, it is now. Patience writes, inventing new words.
Is it a bad time?
It is if you're here to bust me out. The warden has extended house arrest. Ugh,
Oh,
awful.
that's actually alright. That's actually kind of
It must look terrible.
decent. It's decent. Oh, Sitwell. Not dead yet, huh?
You know, usually when a friend wants a favor, they do something nice. Takes me to a nice restaurant, buys me a bottle of wine.
How about I throw you onto the highway?
Movie, hold hands.
I never asked you. How was Tahiti?
It sucked.
Ah, he's broken that cycle. That's my boy. He's broken that cycle. Yeah, no more magical places. It's a terrible place.
Protecting massive.
Asgardians are allies.
Loki wasn't.
That's true. And this one, unfortunately, they even sound the same. Loki and Lorelei. They might as well be a married couple.
3 times the level of the one before.
Jeez. Oh, right on top of you. Whoa, the Bifrost. The Bifrost. Who's this? Sif! Lady Sif! Oh, God.
Definitely Asgardian.
Oh, I love her so much. Lady Sif.
Okay, got it.
Oh, that's awesome.
New Mexico fighting with Thor and his mates.
Thor will be pleased to hear it.
He will be.
He considers you a friend.
He does.
Same. Which is why I'd prefer you hear it from me, if that's okay.
And how long is that going to be,
I
Phil?
understand you're looking for someone.
I am hunting her.
Her powers don't work on women.
No. Men have an inherent weakness we do not share.
They're all much hornier.
Imagine what she's talking about.
The very sound of her voice can ensnare most. For the rare man who can resist, it's her voice joined by her touch that will overpower.
So how do we stop her?
This is a lovely way of bending the patriarchy.
This.
And who's this ugly woman?
That's Ben Franklin. Used to be president. Used to rule
Oh,
this whole country.
jeez.
Make it stop.
name is not Rooster.
I'm sorry, baby. You're making too
No! She's making him kill his wife?
These are files of every
Damn.
police report within 100 miles of where you arrived.
Where's Lady Sif?
Whoa!
Shall we?
We shall. That badass superhero landing.
Have you seen the suspect?
Yes, we have.
Oh, jeez, nice.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, no. Oh, God, she's taking control of the police, too.
I mean, hell, they even got some medieval times chick. She's got like a sword and everything.
Yeah, Sif's here to collect your ass. Yeah, mm-hmm.
Can you give us a little cover?
Yeah, let's go to work. Boom.
Very literal interpretation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tear her apart.
Oh, come on, she can take them. Yeah. Yeah. Boom. Telling humans to tear an Asgardian apart, how's that gonna work? Oh god, and the touch. And the touch. The added touch, yeah. Oh, Ward.
You're the best radar we have.
Mm-hmm.
Find them.
He's got the best resources available to keep her away. She can find them regardless.
About the GH, that's not a good enough reason.
Oh, damn.
I have a duty to you.
Until we speak with Fury and get some answers, that drug and its mysteries stay in-house. Focus on the mission. Lorelei has Ward, and we have no idea where she's taking him.
And they both have very good points regarding that.
I would die for you. Any man would.
But I don't want them. I want you.
I feel like Ward still has some sense of control. That's why he brought her to a public place so Sky can catch her out easily.
Rage of a berserker. And I will give you a gift in return.
Sex. That's the gift. Yeah. Of course. What man would deny sex? So wait, she's never tried to manipulate women? Like, there are no LGBT women on Asgard or any of the Nine Realms?
When I first arrived here, I will not know peace.
So we take her out of the equation.
Good luck with that. Hold the sword. Is it double-sided? Damn, that's sick. Whoa, yeah.
He might try to kill me.
No, he won't succeed. No, May's been playing this game far too long to go down now. Yeah, they did the dirty on that bed.
You said you and Ward wouldn't be a problem.
You really are quite clever.
Wait, what? Fitz? Fitz? Oh no, Lorelei's there on the helicarrier.
I wouldn't run.
No, he'd stay right behind, take his...
My main threat.
Yeah, take his team out. Oh, shit.
Keep an eye on the girls downstairs.
Already locked them in. Cannot have them mucking up Lorelei's plan.
No, I can't. Oh, Fitz, you poor soul.
Something else.
You poor, horny soul. Oh, yeah, you need to take out Lorelei quick.
I can.
Oh, damn. Oh, jeez. As Guardians do not pull their punches, do they? Oh, no. Be careful, Sif. Sif, no. Oh, but be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful. Come on, ground yourself, ground yourself, ground yourself. Sif.
Better in my hand.
Please tell me she still grabbed onto something on the outside of the plane like Thor.
This was the plan.
Yeah, oh, she did hang onto the plane. That's my girl. That's my girl. She did hang onto it. Yeah. Oh, damn. Okay. Come on, Sif. You can fight without your sword just as much. Oh, damn. Detachable.
For me, baby girl.
Nice. Baby girl, really? Fitz?
Hey, you're not supposed to be up here. We have a big problem.
Yeah, you do. You do. Come on. Everybody's fighting. Come on.
Lorelei does not want any. Sir?
Oh, God.
Always getting knocked out, isn't
Yeah, he is. Oh, Jesus. That's it. Ugh. Yield to Lady Sif. There we go. Ugh.
The look in his eyes when I...
Yeah, just shut up. Oh, it's a full-on mouth guard.
You were saying.
It's a full-on mouth guard.
Sorry about this.
Oh, nice.
Whoa.
He speaks the truth.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. That one's still overdue. Yeah, he's still got the last throw in through the window.
I am honored to have fought by your side.
Mm-hmm. And I am honored to have watched it happen. Oh, God. I miss her so much in the movies, man. She was so great.
I'll run diagnostics. She deserves to know what you saw down there.
Yeah, she does, because you put it in her body. She deserves that kind of disclosure.
I'm not saying you were weak. I'm saying all men are weak.
Yeah.
I understand why you had to punch me. I forgive you.
Take it a moment alone with Sky, please.
Yeah. Well, hey, think of it as a badass battle scar after having been seduced by an Asgardian.
I know nothing phases you, but this should phase you. We are completely in the dark on this.
I'm in 084. Who knows what the hell that means? At least we're in the dark together.
Oh, shit.
Yes. This is a powerful secret. A
Who's
secret we'll
listening?
fight for until we know why.
Who's listening? Is it Simmons?
For their safety and ours.
It's Simmons, isn't it? No, it's May.
Update log 93. He knows.
I
I repeat,
He know.
Coulson knows.
What do you know? What does she know? What's she keeping from us? What kind of secrets you keeping under those kung fu grips, May? What does she know? That is okay. So she's reporting into Shield HQ then. Okay. So she's reporting into Shield. Wait, it's a log 93. So she's been what, like one every day, like 93 days. Has it really been that long since the show started? Jesus. Well, TV, fiction of the show wise, but damn, log 93. So she's reporting into so she could be reporting into Fury. Yeah, he could have assigned her to the team to keep tabs on him and see, how much he recovers and also how much he uncovers, if anything at all. So log 93, he knows. So that must be like some code. I mean, he must have assigned some code, like, you know, or if he finds out about the aliens, about Tahiti, about the truth about that, just say he knows. So then, yeah, wow, okay. Damn, wow, okay, so this was quite the episode. So we had, my god, Jamie Alexander returning in the mighty and noble role of Lady Sif. So that was cool. I think I kind of did half expect that coming, but I didn't want to get my hopes up. I figured that I mean, given that we were dealing with someone presumably as Guardian, I had like I had a hunch that, you know, like okay, we might see something more, like someone being sent after her, or maybe someone coming to collect her in some way, but the team still has to find a way to defeat her. But yeah, Lady Sif's return was very nicely done, and a very welcome surprise. So this is set after Thor: The Dark World. She did say that Lorelei actually escaped from Asgard during the invasion of the Dark Elves, like when they went there to take Jane and kill, and they killed Frigga, Thor's mother. So then she escaped using one of Loki's secret passageways or something. So Lorelei, I mean, I'll get back to I'll continue with Lady Sif. Get to that point over done with. But yeah, Lady Sif, seeing her back is again just like a really wonderful thing in general. And yeah, I've been wondering for so long where she is in the movies. I think, you know, after Thor: The Dark World, she just kind of went off the grid, went off the map. She wasn't around for Ragnarok. She didn't like show up on Asgard when Hela invaded. So I think that raised the question of whether or not she was on Asgard at the time at all, or if she even tried to return, and then by the end of it found out that, you know, Asgard is no more. Like that entire world was destroyed by what was his name? Surtur, the fire demon. But yeah, so that raised the question of whether she was there at all. But then, I mean, I heard that she couldn't come back for Ragnarok. The actress herself, Jamie, she couldn't come back for Ragnarok because she has her own TV show on the side that she was filming for. So she had like kind of scheduling conflicts with that, and that was going on like doing its full season. So she was too busy filming that to come back as Sif. I mean, I do wonder how they would have brought back. I mean, it would have been cool to see her fight Sif. But I think, you know, I mean. Not saying that she was a replacement, but I think having Sif be absent for Ragnarok did give them a nice opportunity to introduce another strong female warrior in the form of the lovely Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie. But then that is also something I want to see. I want to see Valkyrie, and I want to see Lady Sif fighting side by side. That is something I would have wanted to see during the downfall of Asgard. But then, you know, like now, like where she is also comes along with the question of, does she know what's actually been happening? Like wherever the hell she is, she wasn't even in Endgame. You know, 5 years later, when the Asgardians have rebuilt their home on Earth in Norway, like, you know, we didn't see her there. We didn't get any mention. So, I mean, I don't remember if she was one of the Dusted. If she was, because I think they said that like when Thanos snapped, he killed half the Asgardians anyway. Like in the beginning of Infinity War, he killed off half of those Asgardians. But then when he snapped later, the Russos said that he actually killed off half more of the Asgardians. So I don't know if Sif was among them. I mean, she wasn't among the ones that left the ship, that escaped at the last few minutes. But I mean, I don't know if she was actually among any of those who were dusted away, or if she was one of the few survivors. But she would have had to be dusted, because if she was, then like there's no reason for her to not have been with her people. Like, I mean, wherever she is, she would surely notice people being dusted away in front of her, and then, you know, seeing that happen, she would be like, you know, like, where else is this happening? How is this happening? Like, is Asgard okay? So she would try and get back home, and then in those 5 years, like, you know, she would eventually, she would have and should have eventually reunited with her people and actually help them rebuild on Asgard, or Asgard in Norway. So I think likelihood is she was probably dusted along with them, but then that saved them the hassle of having to bring her back in, and then having of asking for her to come back, and then just suffering the actress saying no again. I don't know if her TV show is still going on. I don't even know what TV show it is. I think I've seen a poster for it once, like where she has like a bunch of tattoos and stuff, but it's like, yeah, I don't know if the show's still going on, or if she was still doing filming for that. But I mean, as far as I know, they haven't fully taken her out, that there is still opportunity and stuff for her to come back. So maybe in Thor 4, Love and Thunder, we can see her then. But seeing her now after Dark World, it was a very, very nice tie-in. And her being sent to collect Lorelei by Odin. So that was very, very cool to see. And we got a fair bit of history from her character as well. We got a nice bit of history. I think. I mean, over time we've had a bit of history. I think even in the first Thor movie, I think a commonly referenced piece of Sif's history is the fact that she didn't start off being a warrior. I think there was a reference from that Thor made in the first movie that he said he was going around encouraging his friends to fight with him, and then he was to Sif who encouraged you to be a fighter, to be a fighter even when all the other people said no, just because you were a fair maiden, a maiden or something like that. So she has a history of being underestimated. She has a history of being underestimated and, being told that, she's probably not good enough or that she wouldn't win a fight. But then the best part of that is that, she's proved all the naysayers wrong. She's been doubted before, and then she has bested all those men who say so in combat. So she's proven herself to be very, very worthy and a very, very valuable warrior many times, which is why, she would have been a very valuable asset in Endgame, when all the heroes come out the portals. She could have been there. And then again, if the Dusted were brought back, then, obviously the Asgardian warriors that were Dusted were brought back as well, so everyone comes in, so it would have been cool to see her there. But regardless, that was there. But they did mention, Lorelei did mention names, about the men she wanted, or the men she felt for, had feelings for, but never really actually got through to. One of them being Haldor. I haven't heard him. I think I'm wondering if he's one of the Warriors 3, the blonde dude. I think I don't know. I think the blonde dude, I think he had another name, and the big ginger giant, I think I don't know which one he was. I doubt it was the Asian dude. But no, not to be racist, but I think even he would have an Asgardian name. But probably not Haldor. I don't know. I think maybe someone off screen, or maybe someone deeper from the comics or something. But yeah, Haldor was on. Thor was another one. I think Thor. I mean, it's been a while since I've watched any of those movies. But at the same time, I think in Thor 2, I think there was maybe she did have a connection. Me myself, I think the way I see it, she valued their friendship a lot, and she held a lot of great respect and platonic love for Thor. But me personally, I never saw any kind of romance behind that. I think it's when Jane came along in the Dark World, she did kind of harbor that kind of secret jealousy, and harbored that kind of jealousy that for the fact that another female from another realm was actually magnetically pulling in all of Thor's attention and all of his love. So in that sense, she was kind of envious of that, I'd say. But me personally, I never found an actual love from her for Thor that was anything that wasn't anything more than platonic. Nothing she felt towards him seemed anything romantic. But I could be wrong. I think in the comics, I think they are fairly close, and I think him and Valkyrie have a thing going on. But Sif, I think she's fine. She's fine on her own. She's her own strong and independent and capable woman. She doesn't need anyone in her life to fight her. But if she does decide that she wants to strive for that, if she wants to have a relationship with an Asgardian, and if she wants to have a bit of that love in her life, then I think she should go for it. She should definitely go for it. But her and Valkyrie would definitely, I think go well together. I think they're both very, very fine warriors. The two of the finest warriors in all of the Asgardian land, and they are now earthly Asgardian land. So they would go very well together. Kicking ass and just chugging back a glass of beer at the end of a long day too. So yeah, but yeah, Lady Sif being back, loved it, loved it. So looking forward. I do genuinely look forward to seeing more of her in the MCU as a whole. But whether or not they bring her back for Love and Thunder, people are just gonna say that's forced. I had an idea, but then people are gonna say it's forced. But bring her back for Love and Thunder. It would just be great as a whole. So but Lady Sif returned, and then we got introduced to Lorelei, Ms. Lorelei of Asgard, and I'm wondering if there is any actual connection or relation to her and Loki, because both of their powers are the same. Like Sif said, like, you know, her powers are that of sorcery. So, you know, like she does rely on. I mean, we haven't seen her using any of the same enchantments as Loki. Loki uses actual like illusion and trickery and stuff. But I mean, with Lorelei, it's more like manipulation and like bending people to her will. So yeah, but I mean, but she did say that, you know, like they still remember who they are. They still remember like everything that's happening. But then they still do. They still become everything that Lorelei wants, and they do everything that Lorelei wants. So yeah, but Dogs of Hell reference. I clocked that from the guy's jacket. I remember that because they were featured in Daredevil, in the Punisher season, I believe. I think it's been way too long. Well, not too long, but it's been a way long time before since I've watched Daredevil. But I don't know how heavily they were featured. I think they were one of the gangs that the Punisher went for. But I recognized that jacket and then like from like the bar logo as well. So that was a cool kind of reference to see, like a pre-Daredevil kind of reference. That was cool. But yeah, so she manipulated the newly married guy and then tossed him into his own car, probably broke his spine, and then the rooster guy was beaten down by Ward, and I think she took a shine to that as well. Like, you know, if there is a man who can best her current man and prove himself to be anything, and I think, you know, she clearly kind of lusts after that. So I mean, men are. I think that's one of the things I loved about this episode, like that concept of like being like, you know, oh, she goes for men because they're easier to corrupt. They are easier to manipulate. I think like it's like switching the patriarchy on its head. Like men, sure, like there are so many men who thrive under that kind of alpha male assertion and dominance kind of mentality. And, you know, those who will just, you know, like just fall at the feet for any woman so long as they, you know, like get to worship her and serve her and all of that stuff. Like, you know, like men are the hornier ones here. Men are the horniest ones here. So that was like a really like cool kind of concept. I think that they actually twisted and pulled off. So yeah, but I think would that mean that she's never tried women? Like she like, because again, like I mean, like Asgard, I doubt it's like a cis het kind of society. Like, would it be? Like, I mean, there's no, like, I mean, you can't say there isn't, because I mean, LGBT, like Valkyrie is bisexual, and we're gonna have that confirmed in Thor 4. So I mean, you know, I mean, she can't possibly be the only one. But then, you know, the society that Asgard is, I mean, in the comics, I believe, and even in original Norse mythology, Loki is gender fluid. Like, he switches his appearance up and his gender up whenever he like feels like it. Sometimes he's a woman, sometimes he's a man, sometimes he's something entirely different than that. And I think, you know, that was taken into the comics as well. Like, I think there's various comic series where he is I don't know what his name is, but he does actually transform into a woman. So, you know, but so again, like, I mean, LGBT stuff, I mean, you know, like she never corrupted any. I mean, that just sounds wrong. Like, I don't want to use that word, but like she never tried out women, or like, you know, like or maybe even tested that her powers worked on her, on women. I think. Well, I mean, maybe it's because she's like either exclusively or mainly attracted to men that she found them easier to corrupt as well. But she also goes for the men who are actually with someone else. So like all the married folks. I mean, and even in this, like the men she was with in this actually had connections to other women. Like the first dude was a newlywed. The other guy was actually was actually married to the bar owner, and then Ward had the kind of sex thing going on with May. So Sif did say that Lorelei prefers like a man who already is in relations with another woman, because she sees that as a challenge. And she always asks the man, like, you know, oh, do you prefer her over me? Really, the woman who can give you anything you want? And she gave Ward sex in exchange for an empire to rule. So yeah, but she spent 600 years in the past conquering whole empires across the 9 realms and stuff, like bending soldiers and warriors and rulers and kings and all that sort of stuff, like all those men to her will. So they then they eventually managed to lock her up and put that mouth guard thing on her. So I I don't know if that stops her from talking at all or just takes away the enchantment, but either way, she wasn't talking, so probably the same thing. But even the mouth guard thing, I mean, they did the same thing with Loki in the Avengers, just slapping that mouth guard on him to stop him from saying anything at all. So I'm guessing that I mean, I mean, there was no mention of it, but I think I find it hard to believe that there was there was no connection at all between her and Loki. Like, maybe they did secretly train together, maybe they did discover their powers together and kind of, you know, play tricks on other people, but then maybe they eventually diverged paths and stuff like that. I mean, they still turned out evil. They still both liked like manipulating things to their own liking and having their own kind of control over situations and whatnot. So they still both have similar enough agendas, but I mean, Loki is the one who's kind of gone through his own redemption thing, whereas Lorelei, I mean, it's unfair to say that given how far back this is. So Lorelei is, you know, back then Lorelei was still bad, but I don't know if we're going to see her in the future and see her being a changed woman or what's going to happen. But yeah, Lorelei, so far, like as of now, she is someone more concerned with herself than other people. So yeah, but she escaped in the Dark Elf invasion and found her own way to Earth. So yeah, I mean, wait, so okay, so I mean, wait, well, I mean, the first time we saw her was in the last episode, and that's a while after the Dark Elf stuff. Yeah. So then, how would that? I mean, was Earth not the first place she visited? Did she kind of just go bouncing off of different realms until like she found one? I mean, because the Dark Elf invasion, that was episodes ago. That was back. Yeah, that was like. Wait, I can't remember the number or the episode now. I don't know what's going on. So that was like episode 4, maybe? No, not episode 4. That was the which one? Wait, which episode was that? That was the well. That was the well. Yeah, I remember, because that's when Ward had the flashback. That was the well. So that was episode 8. So it was like, yeah, like a good like 5 or 6 episodes back. Yeah, so like, I mean, so like, did this take place back in like what, fall of 2013 around about? Like, I mean, we're edging closer and closer to Winter Soldier. We're getting closer and closer to Winter Soldier territory here. So, you know, I mean, the invasion of that took place before the battle in London. Yeah, I think it did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember that correctly. Yeah, like back in that episode, they were recovering the stuff from the Dark Elves like fight in London, but then the invasion of Asgard took place before then, and then we fast forward to now. So then she must have been bouncing from realm to realm, trying to find her way, trying to find a place where she could actually control and do her, like, unleash her chaos. But then she landed on Earth and eventually found humans willing to do all that stuff. So yeah, but that was that. So Lorelei, she is now in Asgardian custody. She's being returned to Asgard to Odin's judgment, courtesy of Lady Sif. So yeah, good to see both of them there, and a nicely incorporated kind of character, nicely done kind of character incorporation, and a nicely pulled off story too. So that was fun to see. But yeah, so what else? So Coulson did inquire Sif as to whether or not any aliens she met had actually visited Earth recently, and I think she was focusing more and more on the Nine Realms. I don't exactly know which order the Nine Realms are, or if any of the ones she mentioned were one of them. I think Jotunheim she mentioned, but she has mentioned. I think I'm pretty sure Asgardians can travel outside of the Nine Realms, but the Nine Realms are the ones are the realms that they know how to protect and the ones they mainly protect. But I think they do still. I mean, they travel via Bifrost, and the Bifrost can only do the Nine Realms, right? Yeah, and it's like. Yeah, for them, the Nine Realms are still kind of somewhat mythological. So they can't really cover too many extraterrestrial races within those Nine Realms. Yeah, because the Jotunheim was home with the Frost Giants. They're still that's still their kind of territory. But stuff like the Kree she mentioned, they're not part of the Nine Realms. No, like Hala wasn't a part of the Nine Realms. No. Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe they still find some kind of a way. Yeah, because to my knowledge, the Bifrost can only do travel between any one of the Nine Realms, like not somewhere outside of that. But I could be wrong. Maybe Heimdall hooked her up with something. But yeah, so no Nine Realms visits, or no visits from any of the ones she's encountered. And for the ones she's encountered to Earth, the Kree. Yeah, no, not recently. No, I think the Kree would have visited back in Captain Marvel, but that was decades back, or years back, even a decade or two. Yeah, probably, yeah. But no new visits from them. So I think this is something new, maybe. I think, yeah. Because she knows the Kree, she sees the Kree, but then, unless like a visit to Earth maybe got past their radar, maybe got past their record if they have any, like maybe something got through that they didn't hear about, or something got through that was covered up, especially by S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D. would work hard as shit to cover that up, so that would mean that the Asgardians and no one else actually knows about it. So maybe it's nothing, like no visits she knows of. Or no visits she's actually heard about. So could still be one of those names she mentioned. I think it could possibly be the Kree, given how much we've already been introduced to them in the MCU as well. Given how big of a role they have in the MCU, I think it's like that would be like the much better guess. To set them up in the show first, and then have them brought up more in the movies as much as they can, and then to continue through the TV show or something. So I think Kree would be a closer guess. So yeah. What else? The Night Knights were evolved into Ices, I believe they were called. But they had like a pistol with the ounce taken off and stuff, and then they had like an assault rifle, like an SMG and stuff. So they had like newer models and stuff, and I think he said it was the same technology, but I think maybe like a newer design and like a more effective serum perhaps. But yeah, so the Night Knights have been evolved into Ices. I think Night Knight still sounds catchier, so I'm gonna stick with that for now. But yeah, so what I found cool, Coulson breaking that magical play cycle, that was so satisfying to see. That was so cool to see. I think, because he now knows, because it's a deeper thing, because he now knows the truth. He knows exactly what Tahiti consisted of, or for the most part, I guess. So then, there's still a lot of stuff he doesn't know, and there's a lot of stuff he's trying to contact Fury for. Which I think, if May's been keeping logs and reporting in all this time, that means Fury's been keeping an eye on those logs, and he's been watching and he's been listening as Coulson gets closer and closer. So then that gives him more incentive to back off and back away and be like, no, Coulson, I'm away, I'm in Hawaii, sipping on mojitos. I can't answer any Tahiti stuff right now. So the closer Coulson gets, the more Fury actually backs away from him, trying to avoid and dodge all of his calls. So yeah, Coulson finally discovering the truth means that he's now broken out of that conditioning. He knows much more information about his past. He understands enough about his past to know that Tahiti is not all that good of a place, and what they did to him was very, very damaging and just incredibly like a very strongly negative experience for him as a whole. So it's no longer Tahiti is a magical place. No longer that. It's like, how was Tahiti? It sucked. Great big frost giant balls. But yeah, I don't know how that phrase got into that sentence last minute. But yeah, so he's broken out of that conditioning. He's broken out of that. So that is how strong Coulson is. He realizes the truth, he recognizes it, and he scrunches that truth up and tears it apart, because that is not his truth. So yeah, it was good to see him breaking out of that conditioning, changing it up a little bit, like going from it's a magical place, I keep saying that, I don't know why, to it fucking sucked. So yeah, that was definitely cool to see. But yeah, what else? That was that. One thing I actually did want to address. Well, there's a couple more things I want to address, but one thing, I'm gonna go for this one first. What I appreciate so much about this show so far, one of the things I appreciate a lot of things about this show because I fucking love it already. One of the things I actually love about this show is the fact that so far Coulson has proven himself to be a very, very trusting, like a person that Skye can actually trust, because of the fact that whenever he finds new information about Skye, he obviously takes the time to process the information himself, but almost like almost like it's either at the end of the episode or at least one episode later, he reveals the truth. He doesn't want to, he knows, and it's because he knows he knows the pain that comes from keeping secrets. He's had this whole Tahiti thing kept from him all this time and covered up, and he's as he discovers more and more, it pains him more and more to realize the truth of what's been done to him and the truth of what's happening to him. So he realizes the pain of keeping secrets from that. So he's using that is like he's using that to his own like translation, and he's actually refusing to keep any secrets from Sky, not just because he cares about her a lot, but also because he knows the pain of having these kinds of secrets kept from you. So he wants to go into the situation with full disclosure to Sky, so she's just as much a part of this as he is, because it is again her life, like the stuff with Agent Avery having protected her, and like the truth about her, like her kind of being brought into the world, and her kind of moving around from foster home to foster home, all the stuff about S.H.I.E.L.D., all that kind of stuff. He's been revealing it to her almost immediately after he actually finds out. So it's like, his kind of objectives upon hearing this information is, first of all, process it for himself so he understands what he's saying, so he's not, because if he reveals it to Sky immediately, he's going to get the words wrong, he's going to, be unable to process himself. So process it for himself so he understands exactly what he's telling her, and understands for himself exactly what happened, and then tell Sky. She deserves to know about this more than anyone else. It's her life, it's stuff that's going on with her, she deserves to know. But most of all, I think he knows, he understands and knows the pain of having secrets about yourself kept from you. And again, as he goes along, he receives more and more pain after discovering all these kind of secrets that have been kept from, like, being told that he just got sent to Tahiti for recovery, but then realizing that he was injected with a crap ton of alien blood to help him be revived and recovered from his death. So so he's kind of using that pain to try and nurture someone else, to like make sure that she doesn't go through the same pain that he does. I think that's something I actually really appreciate about this, the fact that they're actually using Coulson's history to make sure that he can build a better future for someone else. Like, and he can also build himself up as a trusting figure, so that Sky knows that he is someone she can talk to, and anytime she actually has any questions about her past or about anything, like, she knows that she can actually trust him as a father figure, and as a friend, and as a person. She can actually trust him, so he wants to build that up more than anything else, and keep her safe and keep her knowledgeable and aware of the things that are actually happening to her and the things that are going on around her. So that's something I actually really greatly appreciate, that they're actually pulling off so far with this writing. But in this episode we saw that like Coulson and Simmons had their own kind of disagreement, which in the end kind of got higher in decibels and stuff, but I think they kind of came to their own disagreement of like Coulson wanting to keep this GH325 stuff and the blood sample tests under wraps and between them and keep it in house, but Simmons, having seen the effects that this has had on Coulson, being up and running and jumping and walking again, and also seeing it being used firsthand on Sky, and seeing her revived and her skin and the color returning to her cheeks and her being like somewhat lively again, she's seen the effects of this firsthand. So I think she made a good point of actually saying as like as a S.H.I.E.L.D. scientist, she's it's her duty to actually see what is there to actually help people and what's there to be used for good, as a force for good, and to actually report that in, and like seeing it as like an actual medical advancement as well. Like this is something that saved Sky from the verge of death when no regular doctors could, and it also brought Coulson back from the death. So whatever it is, they need the higher ups in S.H.I.E.L.D., higher ups than her, to actually identify and see what it is, so that it can be used as an actual regular treatment. But Coulson, on the other hand, knows that's not a good idea, because again, he made that point of saying that men died protecting the secret. There were 2 men even in that bunker alone that died protecting this secret, and like they were the only 2 ones there, and this was and that facility was kept off the books and forged with a fake hospital wing and everything. So S.H.I.E.L.D. did everything they could to keep this out of any regular man's reach, or even any kind of skilled man's reach. Like they did literally everything they could to possibly keep this one off the books and out of anyone's like normal kind of S.H.I.E.L.D. radar. So it took a lot of work for them for the team to even find it. So you know, granted that the team do have some incredibly talented and skilled people on board the bus, so, you know, credit where credit's due. But yeah, so you know, he made a point of actually saying that, you know, they shouldn't send it to Shield because Shield was one that kept this hidden from them in the first place. If Shield finds out that one of their secret alien projects has been uncovered, it's gonna be full alarms and red alerts everywhere. Like, you know, like GH325 has been detected, like they've found it and they've used it on someone. Like, not only have they actually uncovered it from the bunker that we tried so hard to hide away under so much mountain, they've actually used it on someone and saved their life. Like, you know, how is this possible? We need to work hard to actually cover this up. But, you know, the last of the GH325 is gone. The alien body is gone. The mountain most likely finished off the corpse that was left. Is crushed under rock now. So, you know, like, whatever was left of it is gone. And I think she said that you know, whatever's left of it is in Sky, but even she can't even detect it in Sky system anyway. It's like been inserted and it's done its work, but then somewhat like dissipated inside her body. So it's like even in her body it's hidden. So, you know, reminds me of how like how they tried to recreate the serum from Steve's body. Like when they were taking blood tests from him, like Peggy said that, you know, any hope of recreating the serum was locked in Steve's genetic code. So, you know, like, using his blood was the only way to even have a fighting chance of actually trying to recreate the thing. So now with this, Simmons trying to do the same, but with Simmons, it's a lot more kind of, you know, for her, it's a lot more kind of like an ethical thing. Like, you know, if this thing can save lives, people deserve to be able to know about it so that, you know, that they can actually have a fighting chance of saving their loved ones from things that modern medicine and modern human medicine can't do. Like, you know, the regular S.H.I.E.L.D. doctors couldn't save Skye. All they could do was give Coulson and the team the option to keep her off or to keep her on life support or not, you know. But, you know, the GH325 stuff, like the deeper more intellectual and more intelligent scientists at S.H.I.E.L.D. that were called on by Fury, they were able to save Coulson's life with this stuff. So, you know, it's understandable. I mean, why Simmons wants to be able to share this, but at the same time, like, Coulson's. I would say Coulson's route is the much safer one because of what we know, because of how much we know already about GH325, because of what we know about S.H.I.E.L.D.'s history of working with this stuff and what they would do if they found out. But now, I mean, May's already reported in. May's already told them, like, you know, he knows. He knows about the GH325. He knows about the alien stuff and the blood. So she's already given that go ahead to Fury or whoever was listening in on the other line. Most likely Fury. I don't think anyone else would. But she's already given that message down the encrypted line, so no one else can detect it. But yeah, well, I guess we'll see the aftermath of that message sharing in the next, in the coming episodes. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have from this episode. It was good to see. I think the stuff with Ward and May, I think May's not really gonna forgive him anytime soon for that kind of stuff. I think she is kind of putting her cold and hard shell back up and her cold exterior back up to protect herself and, you know, stop Ward from thinking that, you know, oh, this was nothing serious, it was just sex, you don't have to worry about us, like, there was nothing serious behind there. But, you know, you tell, I mean, you know, Ward was the one clearly feeling something more there. I think, you know, Ward was the one, I think, allowing himself to feel something, but May was the one fighting any of those feelings from actually coming up, knowing that her and Ward got along a lot better than just sex after a mission. They were able to talk to each other, they were able to share those nights together, they were able to actually, you know, like, they spoke the same language of fists and feet and stuff. So, you know, in that sense, they actually had that kind of a bond. And, you know, because of that, she was the one who actually had to fight from trying to get it to feel anything, and especially when Lorelei went ahead and kissed Ward. You know, we saw the facial expression initially blurred out, but then slowly the camera started focusing on her, and then, you know, you could tell she was pissed at that. Like, you know, like, I think maybe it was a mixture of, like, the fact that, you know, she was allowing herself to be affected by this, but also the fact that, you know, that you know, Ward had told Lorelei enough about May to want to for Lorelei to want to use May against him and to use Ward against her. But then even when Lorelei went further and said, oh, he did actually tell me about someone else on the team that he actually felt for. But the kicker is that it's not you. So it was Sky. I think. Well, yeah, my guess would be Sky. I think he doesn't have enough with Simmons to want to crush after her. But Sky is the one. He is Sky's SO. But even before that, I mean, I think it was after he became Sky's SO that they began to have more friendly chats and. They began to form a bond of their own. So, yeah, I think with May, I think he knows that May does not have the room in her life or the patience or the mindset in her mind to have any kind of relationship with anyone or any kind of like that kind of a bond or a bond of any kind of emotional kind. So he knows better than to try and chase after her with that. I mean, he does often try and relate to her and try and sympathize or empathize with her depending on the situation, and often tries to get her to open up and tries to prove that he is someone that she can talk to, but at the same time he knows better than to try and chase anything with her or to try and inflict any kind of feelings onto her, because it's not going to be reciprocated. The only thing she wants is to blow off steam at the end of a stressful day. So that's the best he can give her, even if he does want to give more. But he can't stop himself from feeling anything, and she is trying to stop herself from feeling something, and it's being used against her. So we'll see. I mean, at the end, I mean, she did say she did kind of again. She did put up that cold shell back up and say that things are fine again, and that there was never really anything between them anyway. So she said it's done too. So whether or not that means that sex is now off the table and they're going to cut that deal short, I don't know. But we will see how their bond progresses and how everything like that progresses in the coming episodes. But yeah, one other thing I wanted to uncover, when Sky mentioned she was an 084, it reminded me of where she actually came from and what that other agent that Phil and May actually interviewed or / interrogated actually told them. He said that she was an 084, but he also said that if she had any powers, they didn't know about it. So he said if she had any powers, we definitely didn't see them in action. We didn't know if she had any. So I mean, chances are, I mean, if she didn't have any powers, I think that okay, maybe there is some other unexplained reason as to why she was being hunted down. But I think a fair thing to say is that she likely did have powers which were made dormant by the time Agent Avery and her crew got to the senior officer that was actually holding her in a pool of his own blood. But by the time they got to her, she showed no signs of powers. Maybe because they became dormant for whatever reason. Maybe they became dormant. So with her now having alien blood in her system, with her now having extraterrestrial blood with special properties in her system, could that be the key to unlocking whatever the hell made her be such a magnet to all those killers in the first place? Or whatever reason they were chasing after her for. Yeah, again, there's no guarantee that she had powers, but could this actually confirm that she actually did have powers, and that's why they were trying to kill her in the first place? Could the alien blood be the key to bringing out whatever it was that made her such a threat or such a target for all those men in the first place? I think it could. I think this alien blood is over time. Maybe by the end of the season, we could see something happen. But I think the alien blood could be a key. Could be some kind of a key that shows that obviously 084, it's an object of unidentified origin. But I think it could prove that she's an 084 in so many more ways than that. So many more ways than just being an object of unidentifiable origin. I think this blood the blood could unlock something that proves she's an 084 in so much more advanced ways than that. That is my theory. So the alien blood could unlock something in her that was made dormant the day that she was first surrounded by all of this death and destruction. But yeah, I think we'll see how that goes. I think as soon as she mentioned she was an 084, I was like, yeah. So she came from this past. She had all of this, and the agent mentioned that she was Agent Lumley. I just remembered his name. Agent Lumley did mention that if she had powers, they never saw it, but that doesn't mean that she didn't have powers. It just means that they literally didn't witness them. So, you know, she must have been made a target for some reason. She had to have been a target for some reason. And, you know, what other reason for her maybe exhibiting powers as a child, and then society shunning her for it, and the people around her shunning her for it, and then, you know, saying that, you know, oh, that baby is a threat to us because she can do this and that, and no normal humans can do that, so then she has to die. Maybe, like maybe that's exactly what unfolded. But I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like it's too much of a far-fetched theory, but I don't know if it's too good to be true either. But yeah, again, we will see exactly how much that theory pans out. I think I've had several other theories in the past which I've either dropped or just realized that, you know, that they were wrong. So we'll see how this one pans out. So that's my theory. Alien blood in Sky, the new the new GH325 thing in Sky, is a key to unlocking whatever made her an 084, or no, whatever made her a threat to those people in the first place. Whatever powers or whatever she did or whatever was shown from her that made her a threat to those people in the first place. So that is my theory. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have from this episode. Great episode. Great to see Lady Sif back. Hope to see her in the future of the show too, because she was really, really good, and I'd love to see her fighting alongside May this time. Like they're literally back to back and kicking butt. So yeah, but great to see Lady Sif back. Great to see some more Asgardian stuff in this with Lorelei. But yeah, looking forward to the next one. But that is pretty much all I have from this one. So that was Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1, Episode 15, titled Yes Men. Is there anything else? I'm kind of racking my brain a bit more now, seeing if there is actually anything else that I can actually say. I mean, well, yeah, okay, now I just remember another point. I mean, Coulson talking to Fury, I mean, well, I kind of explored that already. I mean, yeah, like, the more Coulson gets closer to, the closer Coulson gets to this stuff, the more the Fury just backs away. So I mean, it's less. I think at this point it's less about him actually having the courage to contact Fury, and more about him actually being able to get through to Fury. Like Sitwell himself said, Fury's gone off the grid, and in this case, because of that, you don't find him; he finds you when you want to. You can try contact him all you like. You can call him all the favors or that you like Coulson did. And Sitwell even said that Coulson actually did this once as well. He went off the board once, and he kind of went into that kind of like a nomadic kind of state where, you know, he found you instead of you finding him. So Coulson is kind of like following that lead as well. So yeah, so I think it's like going forward, I think it's going to be more of a case of like you know, Coulson actually making the decision to come forward to Fury making the decision to come forward to Coulson about this stuff, and actually being willing to confront him about what went down, as opposed to Coulson actually deciding to go talk to Fury. But he did confront Sky, and he did tell her about everything that he saw. So again, loving that kind of honesty and like the upfront honesty he's always had with Sky. So yeah, I mean, the one case I think would be him kind of trying to get May to lead her off the path. I think that would be the one exception. But even then, I think he learned his lesson from that. He learned like how broken she was, being scolded by May, but also being warned against like holding on to her past for too long or holding on to that stuff for too long. So I think he learned. I think even in that way, he learned like not to keep Sky in the dark, and to actually, you know, like listen to her and actually, you know, tell her what she needs to hear, as well as what she does want to hear. But yeah, I think this one is going to be a completely different story with Fury. So yeah, but that is definitely all I have. So that was Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1, Episode 15, titled Yes Men. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next in the series. The uncut reaction for this will be up on Patreon, so feel free to go check that out. And yeah, that's it. So I will see you guys next time.